Good evening from the National Service of the Liberia Broadcasting System in Painesville. Welcome to Newsline, 30 minutes of news from Liberia and other parts of the world. I'm Jab Davis, presenting on this Tuesday, August 29, 2023 edition of the program. Stories coming up: President George Weah concludes campaign tour of Western Liberia, winning massive endorsements and support from citizens. Court sends DEA officer to jail pending trial for allegedly shooting his girlfriend to death in Looking Town. NEC mobilizes 80% of budget for October's presidential and legislative elections.
Commission has received some 49,710,271 United States dollars.
And away from home, Nigerian police arrest 200 suspected gay men in Southern Delta State. These stories plus more are all coming up on this edition of the program. But first, let's take a bulletin of news with Edward Tamba.
The ruling Coalition for Democratic Change has concluded its campaign trails in Western Liberia. The CDC week-long citizens' engagements in Bomi, Gbapulu, and Grand Cape Mount counties were led by its standard-bearer, President George Weah. During the political engagements, citizens from Western Liberia reaffirmed their support to the re-election bid of the Liberian leader. The CDC standard-bearer reassured the citizens of Bomi, Gbapulu, and Grand Cape Mount counties of government's quest to transforming Liberia through his developmental projects. During the CDC campaign in Western Liberia, President George Weah also dedicated several modern markets to enhance trade and boost economic activities in these areas. A DEA officer has been sent to jail for allegedly killing his girlfriend with a single-barrel gun. Suspect Charles Jofula committed the act on August 21 in the Zinkiam community of Logan Town. Suspect Jofula was reportedly amusing himself along with friends in Logan Town when he invited his girlfriend over. Police investigation showed that the suspect mistakenly discharged the firearm, causing the death of his girlfriend, identified as Janet Smallwood. The police also established that the DEA officer is not a certified firearm carrier. He has since been charged with manslaughter and detained at the Morovia Central Prison pending court trial. National Elections Commission says government has provided little over $49 million to the Commission for the conduct of the 2023 elections. Speaking at the Senate's hearing Tuesday, NEC Chairperson Devietta Brown-Lansana said the amount represents 80% of $53 million budget requested. She said the commission needs the balance of the little over $3 million United States dollars to conduct a possible runoff election.
NEC is prepared to conduct the 10th October elections. Ballots are being printed and arrival will be soon in the country.
The NEC boss has also warned against the use of camera or phone in the voting room for photo taking of the ballot paper. Madam Brown-Lansana disclosed that the National Elections Commission will work along with the Liberia National Police and other security apparatuses to maintain peace during elections. Former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has described unity as the driving force to the protection and preservation of the country's peace and heritage. Madam Sirleaf believes cultivating the spirit of unity is pivotal to sustain the country's gains after years of conflict. She said the time is even more critical for Liberians to unite and live in one accord, especially as the country goes to elections on October 10.
We are one nation, one people. With all our languages and our dialects and our speaking and our basic, we come from different countries. But we are all Liberians, dedicated to the cause of nationhood, dedicated to preserve it, not for ourselves, but for our children.
The former Liberian president was speaking Tuesday when she officially launched the Women's Situation Room, an initiative to promote a peaceful electoral process in Liberia. Madam Seliva also challenged citizens, especially women, to actively participate in the voting process as a shared responsibility to the state. The Liberia Electricity Corporation has acknowledged and apologized to its customers for the difficulties facing in purchasing token. LEC in a release said this is due to some technical challenges being faced by the Libango vending platform, a platform responsible for assisting citizens purchase LEC tokens. Meanwhile, the LEC has announced the setting up of temporary vending points at its waterside offices, Bourgeois Island plant, and the anti-power theft campaign site on the Dupont Road. The company wants customers utilize the temporary vending points while options are being explored for additional sites to ease the waiting time in getting tokens. And the chairperson of the board of directors of the Andrew Brooks International Center wants Liberians respect the rule of law to keep the peace of Liberia. Madam Olibanki King Akireli said respecting the rule of law is key to the maintenance of peace and democracy in Liberia. She said there can be no true democracy if the citizenry fails to respect the rule of law.
We Liberians must respect human and civil liberties of others, uphold the dignity of every human being, acknowledge and honor the sacredness of human life. Fellow Liberians, the onus is on ourselves to be our own peacekeepers.
The former foreign minister was speaking Tuesday during the launch of the Women's Situation Room, an initiative to promote peaceful electoral process in Liberia. Meanwhile, Madam King Akireli has cautioned political actors to adhere to the Farmington Declaration for a violent, free election on October 10.
Edward Tamba with the news bulletin. He will be back on the program with our foreign development. You're listening to Newsline here on ELBC Radio. We are also live online at www.elbcradio.com. One of the top stories we're following on this evening's edition of the program: court sends DEA officer to jail pending trial for allegedly shooting his girlfriend to death in Lockingtown. Now, workers of B Mountain Mining Company won the company through government enhance that's enforced the liberalization policy. The workers believe this will afford more Liberians the opportunity to improve their lives and that of the country. During a citizens' engagement in Kinjo Monday, the workers threw their head. Samuel Roberts lauded the George Weah-led government for the strides made in advocating on behalf of his people. Vasta Talu